Reveals part of the ferocious gun battle.
Somebody. Oh, gunshots, gunshots. Oh. Get inside.
One of the first hero cops on the scene tells us what he saw inside that conference room.
It was unspeakable, the carnage that we were seeing.
This morning, new details about the shooters and new questions. Did they have ties to terror? Were they radicalized?
Nobody just gets upset at a party, goes home and puts together that kind of an elaborate scheme.
As the investigation deepens, we are getting our first look at the 14 lives lost in the massacre. A loving husband and a dedicated father.
There are 6 kids that have lost their father.
Plus a harrowing account of how a holiday celebration ended in tragedy.
Try to relax, everyone, try to relax.
The man who shared a cubicle with the gunman and was in that room reveals the twist of fate that spared his life.
I'm trying to contact my wife and tell her I love her.
Overnight, a city in mourning tries to come to grips with the horror that's besieged them. We have complete coverage right now on GMA.
Live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America.
And Good Morning America. It was a solemn night in San Bernardino. Thousands came together for a candlelight vigil to remember the victims and their families. And Amy, you saw that sadness up close.
You know, George, it is sad and it is maddening to continue to have to cover stories like this so many times this year alone, but in the past several years specifically. And yet every time you hear from these witnesses about what they felt, what they saw, the panic, the fear, the terror, it really is still unthinkable.
It's completely unthinkable, but so many did come together to honor those 14 people killed.
That's right. Fathers, mothers, husbands, and wives, all killed in this tragedy.
And overnight, we've learned a lot more about the killer couple as well. A husband and a wife, they were dressed to kill. Then they opened fire at a holiday gathering for county health workers.
A search of their home turned up weapons, a dozen pipe bombs, and a huge cache of bullets and weaponry.
We have full coverage from our entire team, starting with World News anchor David Muir on the scene in San Bernardino. And David, we are learning much more about what the investigators found in the killer's home.
And in fact, a chilling portrait this morning, George. Overnight, a new look at not only what they were carrying with them in their SUV, but as you point out, inside their home. This was a massive arsenal, certainly large enough to carry out another attack. Just as I also sat down with one of Farouk's co-workers. They sit at desks just a few feet away from one another for years. He thought he was a friend, and he was sitting at that same table with him the morning before all of this horror unfolded. This morning, a closer look at the most revealing images yet of the lethal weapons used in that deadly shooting rampage. Investigators searching the home of the 2 alleged killers, Syed Farouk and his wife Tashfeen Malik, finding a virtual arsenal inside.
Yeah, several down in the conference room, several down.
This comes as new video is released of that dramatic police chase.
Oh, they're after somebody.
The black SUV suddenly comes into frame, police in close pursuit.
Gunshots, gunshots.
Hundreds of gunshots echo through the streets of San Bernardino.
Oh, they're killing that guy.
Investigators say while Farouk was driving, his wife was shooting through the back of the car at the officers.
Both of them were killed here at the scene. The suspects are believed to have fired about 76 rifle rounds at the officers at the termination of the pursuit.
Overnight, one of the first officers revealing what it was like inside that conference hall immediately after the couple's massacre.
It was extremely loud. The fire alarms were going off. There were people who were obviously injured and obviously in great amounts of pain. And that was evident in the moans and the wails that we were hearing in the room.
We spoke with Patrick Bakari, a co-worker who shared a cubicle with Syed Farouk for years. He considered him a friend.
You had the same title?
Yes.
Both did the
Did
same?
similar work, discussed similar things. I thought I made a connection with him talking about preparing cars and things like that. Asking him some of his experiences and things like that.
That was how you got him to open up, was by talking about cars?
Usually I'd greet him and I wouldn't get anything back. It's like you're trying to initiate some conversation and it just doesn't perpetuate or get anywhere.
Bakari's life was spared because he had gone to the restroom just as the killers were about to enter the room. He was using the paper towel dispenser when the shots came through the wall.
I get hit with a blast. I don't know what it is. I thought the paper towel dispenser was booby-trapped, but it didn't disintegrate.
So it blows up in your face, and you look in the mirror and you see that you're...
So I see that I'm bleeding.
Amid the gunfire, Patrick tries to send a text message to his wife.
As I So we're hearing all this gunfire take place. I'm trying to contact my wife and tell her I love her and that I'm okay.
But he could only type out 2 words.
It said gunman attacked, and I didn't connect it. I didn't know what was going on, so I tried to reach him, and I couldn't get through.
This is the text here?
Yes.
Come and attack. And that's all you could get out, right?
Yeah.
Overnight here, a vigil honoring the victims. There were thousands at that vigil, the entire list of the victims released overnight as they were gathering to honor and to mourn all of their faces, all of their names. And I should share with you one more chilling thing that coworker, Patrick, shared with us. You know, he was inside this center here at that table with him, but he did notice that when it was time to take the holiday photo, the annual Christmas photo that Farouk was missing, he thought nothing of it, George and Amy, until a short time later when he was in the bathroom and the gunfire began blasting through the wall. It was a while later before he heard the name Syed, and he still could not believe it was the man who shared that cubicle for so many years.
Yeah, he just slipped away. Okay, David, thanks very much. And you'll be back later in the program.
That's right. And in the meantime, the FBI is treating these shootings as a possible terror attack. Investigators digging deep into the lives of the husband and wife team right now. And ABC's Brian Ross is here with the latest on that. Good morning to you, Brian.
Well, good morning, Amy. The FBI still won't officially call it a case of terrorism, but increasingly, law enforcement officials say the actions of this young gun-toting couple leave little doubt about the ultimate aim of their mission. In the same San Bernardino townhouse where they were raising their infant daughter, Syed Farouk and his Pakistani-born wife, Tashfeen Malik, were preparing to go to war. Those new photos released overnight show their weapons and the ammunition left behind, enough to kill thousands of people, some 6,100 rounds. Their garage was a virtual bomb factory with 12 unexploded bombs, described as similar to this one featured in an Al-Qaeda publication. All that in addition to this bomb left behind at the crime scene, which used a yellow toy car as a remote-controlled detonator. At least one neighbor was highly alarmed.
They were actually doing a lot of work out in the garage, and she was kind of suspicious.
But nobody called the police.
They were equipped and they could have continued to do another attack.
Farouk had worked for 5 years at the county health department. The widow of one of the employees he murdered said there were no warning signs.
They were all friends with the man that did this, and even though they knew he was Muslim, they had no idea that he had become radicalized.
Federal agents are now investigating the couple's international travel and possible contacts, looking for evidence of what turned Farouk and his wife into killers. Agents almost immediately went to the mosque he often attended in San Bernardino. Imam Roshan Abbasi claims he was questioned by authorities at gunpoint. He would not answer questions about Farouk, but told ABC News he condemns all violence.
The news of the shooting was shocking, unbelievable, unfathomable, left us all speechless. And it is an act that we condemn as Muslims.
Also left behind is the heavily armed couple headed off in their rented SUV for a fatal showdown with police was their 6-month-old daughter. Police say now they are unsure which relative had custody of the orphaned little girl. Federal authorities tell ABC News the FBI is now looking for connections between 2 specific individuals and Farouk to see if they were involved in his radicalization or in helping to plan the attacks. His massive arsenal, by the way, would have cost thousands of dollars, a fair amount of money for someone who takes home about $700 a week, Amy and George.
Okay, Brian, thanks very much. We're going to get a lot more on the federal investigation now from our senior justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas. And Pierre, this couple did a lot to cover their tracks, looking ahead to this investigation.
Yes, George. Law enforcement sources tell us that the suspected shooters apparently did attempt a cover-up. Those sources say mobile phones and hard drives were smashed or tampered with. FBI computer analysts will try to reconstruct what was destroyed, but sources admit it will be very difficult. Authorities fear this was an attempt to hide what the couple had been viewing and who they were communicating with, George.
But Pierre, the FBI in the lead right now, but this couple not on their radar at all, huh?
Sources say they had done nothing suspicious enough to come under serious FBI scrutiny, but the FBI is now poring over intelligence files to make sure nothing was missed, George.
Okay, Pierre, thanks very much.
All right, George, now we want to turn to the victims. All 14 innocent people killed at that holiday party have now been named. Their loved ones are speaking out this morning about their lives. and their unbelievable loss. ABC's Cecilia Vega has more now from the hospital in Loma Linda. Cecilia.
Amy, good morning to you. And we now know that some of the survivors are still being treated here in this hospital behind me. Of the 14 people who were killed, 12 we know were county employees. Many of them worked directly with the man who walked right up and opened fire. But even in all of this senselessness, and that is the only way to describe what happened out here this morning, Amy, there are families who are remembering the good, and there is a lot of it. They range in age from 26 to 60. Fathers, mothers, the cousin of a New York Giants player, a police officer's wife who fled Islamic extremism in Iran. All among the 14 lives taken, leaving behind their high school sweethearts, their best friends, their children.
We'd been together for 14 years.
Jennifer Thalasinos' husband, 52-year-old Nicholas, a health inspector for a dozen years. He was also Saeed Farouk's co-worker.
He was just a very good man, always there to help out.
At first, Ryan Reyes was hopeful his boyfriend, 42-year-old Daniel Kaufman, had survived after seeing a post on Facebook saying he'd been injured but was alive.
It was hard to watch the family members that were getting reunited and not knowing anything about what had happened to Daniel.
But after visiting the hospital, Ryan learned the worst.
The world will suffer from having one less person like him.
The last thing Ryan texted to Daniel, "I love you." And 37-year-old Michael Wetzel, a father of 6, was in a meeting when the shooting started. Today, those children waking up to horrific news.
They are very overwhelmed. There are 6 kids that have lost their father.
Wetzel's wife, Nicole, telling ABC, "He was my best friend and an incredible father who was loved by all. Without him, this family will never be the same." So much heartbreak out here this morning. And Nicholas Thalasinos dropped his wife off at work the morning of the shooting. She's a second-grade teacher. It was snack day. He helped her carry snacks into the classroom. And she tells us that she is cherishing this morning that one final hug and kiss that he gave her. George and Amy, that is the memory this morning that she is clinging to. One final hug and kiss from her husband.
That moment of reaching out, you see this all the time, these people going along their normal day and then everything shattered.
In one moment. All right, Cecilia, thank you. And as we all remember those 14 victims, there are a lot of heroes emerging from that day. First responders who arrived on the scene within about 4 minutes of learning about the shooting. And one of the first men there, Police Lieutenant Mike Madden, and he is speaking out about what he saw.
We wanted to get in there and we wanted to stop any further innocent people from being injured and possibly killed. As we entered into the conference room, the situation was surreal. It was something that I don't think, again, we prepare for, and they try to, an active shooter, we talk about sensory overload, they just try to throw everything at you to prepare you for dealing with that. What you're seeing, what you're hearing, what you're smelling, and it was all of that and more. It was unspeakable, the carnage that we were seeing, the number of people who were injured and unfortunately already dead. And when we entered, there was fresh gunpowder and the smell of gunpowder in the air, and the pure panic on the face of those individuals that were still in need and needing to be safe. And then we went further into the building, and that was a difficult choice to have to make as well, passing people that we knew were injured and needed assistance. But our goal at that time had to be trying to locate the shooters and deal with them.
Those first responders did everything right. What's so scary is that the couple knew how quickly they had to get out of that facility.
Yeah, and how they led the way and led people out and said, "I'll take a bullet for you, but let us lead you." It was really remarkable.
It was. This California massacre is front and center in the presidential race right now also. Both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump moving toward calling it a terrorist attack, as a new poll out this morning shows Trump surging to his biggest lead yet. ABC's John Carl tracking that side of the story from Washington. Good morning, John.
Good morning, George. President Obama hasn't yet called Tuesday's mass shooting terrorism, but the candidates vying to replace him have left little doubt they are calling it terrorism.